How would you feel if you woke up one morning to find out you were moving to a country thousands of miles away? How would you respond to leaving your home and family to move to a place where you don't even know the language? Have you ever had to make a decision that changed your life completely? Today, we will learn about a family who started a new life in America in 2002, a time where our country was still recovering from the 9/11 terrorist attacks, a family who came from nothing and found a way to a better tomorrow. The Humanities Communication Arts Department at Nora Community College presents The New Directors, the show that introduces you to television's feature writers, directors, and personalities. And now join our host, Stephen Wasserman, to meet the next new director.
Thank you for joining us for today's edition of The New Directors. All of the people involved with this program are students in the television production course and are directing, switching, controlling audio, operating cameras, and acting as talent for the first time today. The guests you are about to meet are students who, when not on camera, are behind the scenes working hard to bring this program to you with as few mistakes as possible. Each student will write and direct 4 different productions. This program will give them a chance to talk about themselves, the productions they have completed, and give you the chance to get to know them and watch their progress throughout the semester. Our guest today is a person who moved from Colombia at 8 years old in 2002 with her mother and younger brother. They traveled about 3,000 miles, leaving their family and home behind, in search of a better life and future. Now I would like you to meet our guest today, Johana Restrepo.
Hi. Hi. Question 1.
You were relatively young when you moved to America, but what can you tell us about your transition into a new culture and life?
Well, first, when I first moved here, I was really scary because I remember in 2001 coming home from school. I was still living there and going home to my mom and my grandma watching the news. We had just gotten our visa and we're watching the towers fall, and I'm just like, Mom, why are we going there if this is happening? And she's like, no, it's okay, everything's going to be all right. So she's trying to calm me down. And also it was just really hard to come here and not know a word of English, so I got teased a lot also. And I grew up with my grandparents. I lived with them my whole life. It was really strange not having them around, not having my grandma's cooking, her talking to me every day. My friends also, I already said that, but my friends. And also another thing that really shocked me about coming here was that there were so many buildings. I'm sure there's other towns here where it's more country and stuff like that, but in Colombia you see green everywhere. There's mountains everywhere, and you can see it right now if you just play it. Here you can see the mountain in Cali, Colombia. That's where I'm from. I wasn't born there, but it's where I grew up. It's where my home is. I grew up with my grandma and my grandpa, and my fondest memories are playing in the condo that we live in with my girlfriends, playing house, secretary, I don't even know what we used to play. And also I remember learning how to swim there, learning how to skate there, and some of my fondest memories are there. So when I moved here, I left that all behind, and I was really scared. I didn't know that moving here was going to bring a better future for my brother and I. I know we needed a fresh start, but you just don't think about that. When you're 8 years old, you're kind of just more focused on having fun. You don't really think about the future. And this was basically my view my whole life until I moved here. Wow. I miss my grandma's cooking, like I said, the most. Her and my uncle used to cook for us almost every day. Anything you wanted, you can get. And you can never be fed enough. You can never be full at my grandma's house. That's just not allowed. And we always used to go to this mall. It was called Chipi Chape. here, you know, you can shop, but also it's very secure because, I mean, it is a third world country. It's kind of dangerous, but we used to play around there, and this is where I was. I learned how to swim in that very pool.
Could you tell us why you decided to take the TV production course?
Okay, so it's going to sound kind of ridiculous, but when I was little, I used to think that when I watched TV, I used to think that the people on TV lived inside the television, and they would work all day, every day, just to entertain people. Until one day in 1999, I was 6 years old, when in the town where I was born, in Armenia, Colombia, there was a huge earthquake that destroyed the whole city. My whole city was gone. My house was one of the few houses that was left standing. And I remember my mom and I had just dropped off my little brother and his daycare. So we went downtown to run some errands. I don't know where the ground started shaking. It's crazy. Buildings are falling down everywhere. And I remember seeing like dead bodies being robbed, people being stuck under debris, like walking to get my little brother because the whole city was shut down. We walked about 4 hours, and I remember seeing a reporter like standing there giving the news. Everything was going crazy behind him, and I was like, oh my gosh, wait, those people don't live inside the TV. They're actually good. They're actually out here. So we got my little brother, and he was fine. But ever since that day, I wanted to be on TV. I wanted to be there. I wanted to inform people of everything that was going on, and which is what I hope to do someday. I hope to be a reporter or news anchor, something like that, where I can be inside someone's TV giving them the news.
Very good. What are some of the most useful things you have learned in the TV production course?
We learned scripting and how to make storyboards to create sequencing. We also learned Avid, which was really new to me. I don't know anything about it. I still feel like there's so much more to learn about it. I feel like there should be a whole course dedicated just to Avid because there's so much to it. And also we learned some camera techniques. We learned TV directing and the importance of teamwork in a production.
Tell us about the productions you created for the TV1 course, including the Learning Project, the Action Sequence, the New England Seasonal Project, and the Orange Project.
Okay, well first I'll tell you about my Student Studies short, which is actually my worst project, I think, because it was the very first one, kind of getting the hang of things. I hate that I even have to show it, but okay. Basic techniques we learned were close-ups and long shots. We also learned the importance of not crossing the 180 line and the importance of having precise camera placing, because if you cross it, then the video gets all weird. Mm-hmm. And then for the teacup project, the basic techniques that I learned from the Student Studies short were refined, and I was able to have almost no jump cuts and add music. This one was a really fun one to film because my brother is a total clown, so it was pretty cool to get to do it with him. So for my fall project, we learned the 6 guidelines for good compositions, which were simplifying the scene, the rule of thirds, lines of grace, emotional lines, framing techniques, and we also use camera techniques like the poor man's dissolved, shift focus, continuous zoom-ins and outs, which I use zoom-outs in mine, and we added titles and music. For my orange project, we basically used all the skills that we learned all year except with this one, it was a little bit more scripted. I had to think about it a little bit harder in terms of my storyboard because it involved a lot more than just a teacup. But yeah, overall, it was really fun. And my favorite one was my teacup project for sure.
Now, I know you had one project that you felt was your best. Tell us about it as we watch a sample of the video with the music you selected.
Okay. Well, like I said, it was my teacup. And it was my favorite, mostly because I got to do it with my brother. He's pretty funny, and you're going to see at the end like a couple bloopers that I added. But I liked it because I got the chance to really take my time with it and get his input as well. He was able to just tell me, you know, what he wanted to do. That whole flip at the beginning where he's grabbing the tea, that was his idea. He didn't want to settle for just grabbing the tea. He was like, no, let's do something cool. So I let him because he was doing me a favor in the end, so I let him.
You mentioned the variety of things you have learned in this course. What was the most interesting and important skill you learned, and how will you put it to use?
I found it really hard. I didn't know how much paperwork it involved to put a project together, and not just paperwork, but just how much thought it took. You know, you never really think about that when you're watching a movie or a TV show, how every cut is an actual take. And also, it was difficult to, well, not difficult to learn, teamwork, I shouldn't say that. But the importance of teamwork in the control room is also something that I saw for the first time, firsthand. I experienced it. And I thought it was pretty cool how you have to really rely on your partners in the back because they're basically there to help you. So you have to really get to know each other, get to know how you work, and stuff like that. Get to bond.
Today we got to meet someone whose mother took a giant leap of faith and uprooted her life to give her children a better one. Johana shared her story with us today, a story that is similar to that of many Americans. Our guest wouldn't be here today had it not been for her mother making the choice to move and chase a brighter tomorrow, a choice that would change her family's life forever.
We missed one question.
I would like to thank our guest for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
We hope you enjoyed meeting one of television's future directors, and we hope you will continue to join us each week to watch our progress. Thank you, and good day.